Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, exciting. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the day shift. Y'all, I'm so glad to be back in the building today with you guys. I'm Paulette, if you are new here, and one of the things that we're definitely going to be doing today is getting me back into the swing of things. So come on in this room. Welcome to everybody that is paying attention to me now on all of the Brownstone Worldwide platforms, on TikTok and on Facebook and YouTube and Bigo, Twitch. We're not on Substack yet, even though I can go live on Substack. So big shout out to everybody that has subscribed to the Brownstone Brief on Substack. We appreciate you. I literally cannot believe that we're starting to grow in numbers. So I'm excited about that. You are appreciated. Let me give you just a little bit of news and information that you can use if you are not familiar with what we do here. First of all, we are Brownstone Worldwide. I am the owner and founder of brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, Brownstone Living Magazine. If you want your copy, you can always head over to brownstoneworldwide.com and get your free digital copy with TJ Mercer, who is the founder of Move-In Day Mafia. Now, real quick backstory or back note. When you get your copy of Brownstone Living Magazine, you'll find out that TJ has an event that's coming up here in Atlanta, and it is called the HBCU Bingo Experience. It is her live event, and her guest MC and honorary chair is none other than Sherry Shepard. So we're really excited about that. I am one of the mob or Move-In Day Mafia volunteers. And so, of course, I'm going to be shouting that from the rooftops. So for more information about that, you can always go to moveindayMafia.org, and you'll learn more information about how she is raising funds for underprivileged students to have a wonderful move-in dorm experience for their full college experience, because it is a fact that when students are supported throughout their college years, they're more likely to graduate. So great program. Glad to be a part of it. I actually was a foster child that aged out of the system, and a program like this would have been perfect for me back in the day. And what should have taken 4 years actually took like 8 for me. 8. And then I had nerve enough to go back again and again and again and again. Yep. So some people aren't like me and just don't want to deal with it because they're too busy trying to find somewhere to live, or they don't have enough money for food or, personal care items and stuff. So the program is amazing. Again, moveindayMafia.org is the name of the organization. So shout out to all of mob members, and shout out to TJ for everything that she is doing. All right. I guess that was my little commercial, right? So a couple things we need to go over really quick. When you are in the room with me, a part of the day shift, each and every last one of you are considered neighbors. You're a neighbor, I'm a neighbor, everybody's a neighbor. Back in the day when I was a kid growing up, my mother had these little signs in her door that the neighborhood put out, and it said, I'm on watch, and so is my neighbor. Well, we're on watch. We're watching out for each other. We're watching out for what's happening in the world and in the US of A. So we are more informed, and so that we can make better decisions for how we live our lives, both online and off, because now you're in both of them, whether you want to believe it or not, you really are. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind. Thank you so much for that, Lucy. So for those of you all who are popping in for the very first time, just know this is kind of what we do here. Okay. Let me tell you something I am going to do. I'm going to get a microphone. I have several. Why don't I just hook it up to YouTube? Why don't I just do that? Because YouTube's a little bit different. You got to hook up. And I know that this microphone that I'm currently using is probably letting everyone hear the lack of acoustics here in the space that I'm in. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into some news that you should know about. Now, y'all, we already know what is currently happening right now in the world. We're not stupid. We've been paying attention to everything that is happening, okay? But a couple of things that I think are really important for us to discuss today, and again, I'm going to be here for a minute, are the Genius Act. You definitely need to know what it is, okay? The second thing I want to talk about is CapCut. The reason why these two things are important is because it's your money and it's your intellectual property, okay? Every time you go live, you are creating IP or intellectual property. Every time you post content that you created, guess what? That's your intellectual property. You own it. Do you follow that? So because of that, CapCut has decided what they're going to do with your intellectual property. And you need to make a decision on what you're going to do. And it's really, really important for you to hear me on this. Not because I don't like CapCut, because I do use it, but I also use other platforms as well. But CapCut is the most convenient for me. But as of this morning at 6 o'clock, hey, Coco Dreams, how are you? I learned some new stuff. Okay, so that's number one. We definitely want to be sure that we're aware of what happens with our content. What else are we talking about today? We want to definitely talk about what stable coin is when it comes to the Genius Act. And you know we're going to go over Project 2025. So let's jump in and let's get started. Let's talk about the Genius Act. All right. So the Genius Act is super important for you guys to know because it is, you make, sorry, of course, somebody decides they want to start talking. As always. Okay. All right. Okay. So the Genius Act passed. You need to know what it is and how it impacts your money. And you also need to know that the Senate just passed it. Okay. It made it through all kinds of different hurdles and different things. So we're going to go through that first. Just waiting for this person to respond back, and then we're going to jump right into it. Oh, let me go ahead and pull up where we are with Project 2025. Why is that important? Because y'all didn't believe it was the Big Beautiful Bill. I think I'm saying it right. Yeah, so the Genius Act is different from the Big Beautiful Bill or the One Big Beautiful Bill. Okay, so I do want to talk about that a little bit later. I just don't have that pulled up. But we definitely need to cover exactly what is happening with the One Big Beautiful Bill. What I did read this morning, though, folks, please hear me on this, is now the GOP is saying it's dangerous. There are some people that are like, I don't know about this. I don't know, right? Because they're still kind of, they're testifying and they're doing all kinds of things. So it's just kind of interesting. So here we go. The Genius Act. It's called that because it stands for Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act of 2025. Hence the name Genius Act. Not because it's the smartest thing to do, okay? The status, it passed the Senate 68-30 on June 17th, which was yesterday. And now it's headed to the House. Okay? Y'all know that's where stuff ends. Okay? Now, here's the major thing that you need to know about the Genius Act. It is the first federal rule book for payment stable coins, digital tokens, pegged 1-for-1 to the US dollar. Now, let's talk about why this is important to you. Okay? Here we go again. I'm so sorry, y'all. I have to answer because she's my assistant. She needs a little bit more guidance, and that's okay. All right. Okay. No, Lucy, you're good. You're good. Hey, Malcolm, welcome. So we're still going to, let's see. Nope. And thank you so much for that, Lucy. Okay. I think that's it. I think that she did. Okay. So here's what it is. So the Genius Act is a draft law. It's not complete. And it sets the first clear U.S. rule book for stable coins. That's digital tokens. Okay. And they're supposed to stay at a fixed $1. Okay. Think of it as giving online dollars an official seal of approval, because right now there is nothing that's in place. And I don't know if a lot of you guys are aware of that or not. So even if you have Bitcoin or something like that, it is not stable. Okay. Now, why is Congress so bothered by this? So today's money transfers still run on a 40-year-old rail. Paychecks and wire payments can take days. You guys know this, right? So what do a lot of people do? They go out and they use other digitized systems that don't cost as many fees. So, like if you're using, let's just toss some things out, Venmo. If you are using other digital transfer systems like Cash App, if you're using digital systems through your bank, what is it, Zelle? If you're using digital systems through bank transfers within your own bank, they don't cost as much. PayPal even has the digital transfer system. And normally what happens is when you're using these digital transfer systems, it's costing you a small percentage to transfer those funds, as opposed to back in the day. And it's still around today, folks. You can still transfer money and do wire payments, but it's going to cost you sometimes $25 for a specific dollar amount or more, depending on how much you're spending or sending to another individual, as opposed to using, say, for instance, a Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, XYZ. Now, dollar peg tokens already move billions 24/7. We know this. Why? Because we're using it. We're doing it ourselves. But here's the issue. There are no guardrails. There are no guardrails. And they can and have caused problems. They have blown up. Okay. Lawmakers want the US dollar to stay king as other countries race to launch their own digital cash. I don't know how I feel about that, but I just wanted to kind of point that out to you guys, what's happening. Now, every token must be backed 1-for-1 by cash or short-term treasuries. In other words, hey, Angie, how are you? Come on in, Angie T. So let me back up. Right now, I have some coins. I knew it was coming. All right, we got a breaking news. I'm here for the long haul today, y'all. Let's go ahead and give you the breaking news. It just popped across my screen. Y'all ready? Okay. I don't want to say it, but we saw it coming. Where'd it go? I hate talking about it, but I got to talk about it because you need the news, you need the information. So here's what's happening, folks, right now. Where'd it go? This is what happens when everything is connected to everything else. I know I'm not crazy. Okay, here we go. It looks like, according to this breaking news that I just got, all right. This guy, Donald J. Trump, he's ready to put us in this mess. So he suggested that he could order a U.S. strike on Iran in the coming week, but no decision has been made. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said Iran will not surrender, snubbed an offer by Russian President Vladimir Putin to mediate between Israel and Iran. And he's stated that Iran has asked for a White House meeting. Iran's UN mission responded with a furious no. So that's where we kind of are right now. He's teasing a possible U.S. strike on Iran. You're not surprised, me either. So as the country's supreme leader warned of irreparable damage if America joins Israel's war. This just came out. Okay. Trump starts his conversation with, this is going to be really bigly. Here we are with that word, maybe less than a week. Yeah, so Ayatollah Khamenei, Ali Khamenei says, no, we're not surrendering. That's it. So there's that. Shall we move on? We want to move on because we were talking about Bitcoin and how important it is. And what I'll do is every time something pops up that I see through my feed, I'm definitely going to talk about it. Okay, that's how we'll start doing that. Okay, and yes, we are already over there. Okay, so what you guys need to know in everyday terms is why the Genius Bill has been put into position. Okay, every token, like I said before, must be backed by a dollar for dollar cash. So no longer can you just create your own Bitcoin. It has to be backed by money. Make sense? Monthly public audits is another thing. Independent accountants must show the, quote, cash in the vault every 30 days. And I'm okay with that. This one I'm good with. Let me tell you why. Because there have been times when I was kind of goofing around because I had some extra cash laying around. Not like that, but, you know, and I would just kind of purchase, like Shiba Inu was a thing for me because, you know, I had gotten word that it was going to blow. Honey, it ain't blowing yet. It's blowing air. It's blowing smoke. Okay. And so I have some Shiba Inu. But what real value does it have? It's going to have to be backed. According to this, Carla, it says here, if this passes the House, then yes, it's a thing. So independent accountants must show the cash on hand or in the vault every 30 days. 24-hour cash out. Not sure how you feel about that one. You can always swap your token for a real dollar within 1 business day. I'm going to tell y'all why that's important. I think for somebody like me, and I don't know if there's anybody else that has invested in Bitcoin. But I know for me, you couldn't, like I could put in, say for instance, what was another one I had? I think I had ENG or something like that. Well, I bought some of that and I paid like $70 when I first got in it, some crazy number, but it gave me a couple million shares. It was insane. But how do you get, and then it showed the value, the value amount there, but I had only put in like, it was like a couple $100,000, right? And I thought, well, that don't even make sense. Well, now they want it to match. And if it doesn't match, then there's no point. Okay. And I like the fact that if I don't want to be a part of it, then I can go ahead and swap my money for the real thing. Okay. And that's kind of relative though, isn't it? When you really think about it, because the dollar is kind of virtual now too, right? Like I'm not walking around here with paper money like I used to have. Now I'll keep some on hand for emergencies and stuff like that. But you can go into some stores now and they say we're not taking cash. We're only taking digital. If you don't have a card, if you don't have, some kind of way to pay digitally, they don't want your money. They don't want your money at all. Okay. All right. So no rehypothecation, or however you say that word. Issuers cannot lend or stake those reserves ever. So once you got them, they're yours. Standard anti-fraud checks, same ID and anti-money laundering rules banks already follow. And because of some of the things that Bitcoin and stablecoin has been doing right now, and some of the news that we've been hearing about how people are trading people, literal people, using Bitcoin and on the dark web, and they're doing all kinds of things. They're trying their best to, in this instance, control that. But how much control do you really need? Because regardless, they've been trafficking folks using regular cash forever. Who gets to issue these digital dollars? Banks and credit unions under their usual regulators. Licensed fintechs that do almost nothing except issue and safeguard stablecoin. Let me say that again. Licensed fintechs that do almost nothing except issue and safeguard stablecoin. Big tech platforms. Oh, here we go. Apple, Google, Meta, to name a few, may not issue their own coin unless they spin it off into a separate, heavily regulated subsidiary. So what that sounds like is it would absolutely impact Trump coin and any other coin. What it could mean for me and you, which is the most important thing, right? We want to know how this is going to impact us in the long run, because that's super important. Welcome, you guys, to all of you all who are watching and all the other things. Just let me know that you're here. Couple things. One, where are we? Here's what it could mean for you. There is an upside. I'm going to give you the downside. Okay. Instant low-cost payments. So you could use it like Venmo. It's Venmo speed at the grocery store. That's kind of how I could give it to you. Here's the possible downside. Small community banks could lose deposits, pushing them to raise rates or shrink. Cheaper remittances to friends and family overseas. Y'all know how much it is to wire money. But if you do it digitally, it's fast, quick, and easy. Tokens live online. Here's the downside. Wallet hacks or lost passwords can still wipe you out. I've seen it happen to people. Okay. Here's what it could mean for you that is an upside. Programmable money, automatic rent escrow, per article news payments, those kinds of things. So you can use it for things as you need. The other issue is, on the negative side is faster government or law enforcement freezes that can raise privacy concerns for you. Okay. Here's where we currently are. The Senate passed the bill yesterday. This is the Genius Act. If you're just now joining us, you need to know about this. The Genius Act, the House now has to debate or tweak it, kind of, make adjustments to it. And then both chambers have to agree on the final text before Trump can sign it. Okay. Outside of that, agencies would have about 18 months to write the detailed rules for the entire Genius Act. Here's the thing. The Genius Act becomes law. Regulated online dollars could show up in your favorite banking app or checkout screen within a couple of years. So it's not going to be overnight. Moving money faster, and let's say this also in theory, safely. But let me tell y'all something. Every time something like this happens, somebody else figures out a way to do what? Do it out of context. Do it illegally, right? It's going to impact your privacy because your information is going to be a little bit more readily available as if it isn't already, right? Yep, Carla, you're right. Scam or hack. It's going to reshuffle how banks, fintechs, and even your privacy work. Remember that. Remember that. Super, super, super important. You need to know. Again, we're talking about the Genius Act, the plain English version. That's what I tried to give y'all today. Okay? It is a risk. It is a risk. Because if you have nothing but a virtual wallet, your money can get wiped out and you out of there. So definitely remember that. Hey, Victor, how are you? Hey, Willie, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So you got to remember that. If stable coins pay a yield or simply move faster, community banks could lose cheap deposits, nudging savings rates up. Remember that. And that's important, especially in these small banks and these small communities where they depend on those banks for their loans and so forth. It can really make it a stressful situation. Okay. I was getting ready to say, any questions? I am not teaching. I'm currently not in teacher mode. I need to stop that. That's really sad. All right. All right. Hey, Queen, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So thank you again for those of you all who are new here. Y'all, I'm just now returning. Oh, Sharada girl, you still here? Come on in. Sit on down and spell. If nothing else, turn me on the background and just listen in. Listen in like you listening to the radio, like I was back in the day. Just sitting in the studio, just talking, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just talking here today, trying to get back into the swing of things because I've been out of commission for about a week and a half. I'm teaching and learning. Good for you. Good for you. But I say it like that because Anyway, wasn't one of the goals of project to take over all funds. Ooh, hold on, Angie T. Let's go over to Project 2025. .observer. Let's take a look. I feel like a cartoon, right? Let's head on over to Project 2025 and let's take a look. So if you're not familiar with how to find out whether or not Project 2025 is on task, you can always go over to project2025.observer. If y'all didn't hear me, I'm going to say it again. Project2025.observer. Okay, now, I wish I had. I wish I had. Oh my God, today. We are currently 1,312 days, 0 hours, 7 minutes, and 40, 38, 37, 36 seconds into this particular administration. So that's how many days we have left in this administration until the end of this term. All right, so let's talk about where we currently are with Project 2025. Okay. Now, the last thing that got completed was on the 12th. Okay, so let's talk about that. Carnival, what are you doing? Enough of that. I've aged 90 years. Come on now, right? I feel like we've all kind of aged. Like, what is happening? So the first thing that we wanted, Department of Homeland Security. Let's talk about Trump ends TPS for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. Resources. Let's talk about the resources. It is a regime, not an administration. I'm just trying to be nice, Suma. I promise you. So now, page 45. Listen, Linda. Page 45 of Project 2025, the actual document, is where you can find this. Now, when you are on project2025.observer, you will actually be able to see the progress and which items are up for bid. No, I'm kidding. Which items are literally completed and what's up next. 313 total things that they want to complete. 100 are done. And 62 are in progress. Hey, Kim. Okay. So project2025.org. If you go over there, you can literally look at the entire document, and then it'll tell you what page 145 of said document will let you know. Management directives and policies should realign to ensure that the workforce will, while adaptable and able to handle the bulk of the USCIS mission, is not allowed to be pulled off mission work to focus on unlawful programs, DACA, mass parole of Afghans, Ukrainians, Venezuelans, which divert resources away from nuclear family and employment programs. The regulatory agenda should include the immediate submission of notices of proposed rulemaking for the Trump administration's public charge rule. How interesting that he's already named in a document that he didn't know nothing about. Yeah, I sipped that on purpose, just like that. He didn't know nothing. That's what he said. Remember, he said he didn't know nothing about it. Remember? I don't know anything about it. It's not real. I'm not a part of that, XYZ. But it says the Trump administration's public charge rule, including aspects from its original notice of proposed rulemaking, repeal temporary protected status designations. It's right here. Internal efforts to limit employment authorization should be matched by congressional action to narrow statutory eligibility to work in the United States and mitigate unfair employment competition for U.S. citizens. The oft-abused H-1B program should be transformed into an elite program through which employers are vying to bring in only the top foreign workers at the highest wages so as not to depress American opportunities. Exactly, Angie. OMG. It's right here. Page 145 of Project 2025. Repeal temporary protected status. Permanently authorize and make mandatory e-verify. And end parole abuse by legislating specific parole standards. USCIS should make it clear that where no court jurisdiction exists, it will not honor court decisions that seek to undermine regulatory and sub-regulatory efforts. Finally, USCIS still requires access to all relevant national security and law enforcement databases in the same vein any other agency in the intelligence space is. This is a key concept that should be addressed as USCIS is returned to functioning primarily as a vetting agency. Now does Palantir make sense? Don't sleep, folks. Do not sleep. This was planned all along. All along. And I could go on. Now I'm officially on page 146 because it goes on and on and on. Necessary border and immigration statutory, regulatory, and administrative changes. What do those look like? The current border security crisis, bingo, chess moves. Chess moves, all of it. But we worried about these two fighting on X and True Social. You see this? Isn't this wild? This is crazy. Title 42 authority and Title 8. Create an authority akin to the Title 42 public health authority that has been used during the COVID-19 pandemic to expel illegal aliens across the border immediately when certain non-health conditions are met, such as loss of operational control of the border. Always, yes, Angie, they're always clocked in, always on script. They have not missed a beat. They haven't missed a beat. Mandatory appropriation for border wall system infrastructure. Monies appropriated will be used to fund the construction of additional border wall systems, technology, and personnel in strategic locations in accordance with the Border Security Improvement Plan. So all of this stuff that we're watching in real time, like I reported on the news this morning, I reported that 700 troops are coming in to support administratively ICE in Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. They don't care that you're following the rule of the law. They don't care that you're supposed to go to court or you show up. They want you gone. That's it. Unaccompanied minors are also a part of this. I know, Carla. I know. I don't want them here. Exactly. They're not allowing due process. And when people arrive in court to follow the rules that they were told to continue to remain in this country until they get what they need to get, and that's American citizenship, they picking them up right there. They're signing documents. They're forging these people's names and picking them up. And what's unfortunate about all of this is not one person is being given due process. Y'all don't want me to pull back out my Constitution book. I'll go find it. It's insane, isn't it? And I'm trying to be hard, Nia, you know what I mean, and not cry about all of this, but it's so frustrating to literally watch people be treated this way. It does, Angie T, not just citizens. It says all. It says all. All citizens, all persons, excuse me, let me be clear, all persons. It doesn't say that you were born here. It says all persons. So if your feet are on the ground of the United States and its territories, you're covered. So every single one of these people that have been picked up, and see, here's the other thing. Let me throw this out here as well in the middle of this conversation that we're having, is I'm tired of hearing, well, they're criminals and they're this and they're that. Johnny, you know, they've been doing it. They've been doing it. And because people don't know, Carla, that's the reason why things are continuing to be done the way that it is. You better say that again, Coco. The 5th and 14th Amendment gives them the right to due process. Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. Hey, Rita. Hey, Daffers. Come on in. Y'all stuck with me for a little while. So come on in, sit down, turn me on, and finish washing your dishes or taking calls from customers. I don't know, but just kind of stick around today. We're getting caught up. Yes. Yeah, Johnny, they've been doing it. They've been picking up people in my community without due process. That's not new. You see how calm I am? Because I'm used to it. Absolutely. No more, haven't been Mirandized, nothing. Been doing it. Yep. You back at work, Sharonda? Just listening, girl. Just listening. Shout out to Sharonda Seeley. What's up, girl? So good to see you in here. That is correct. Now, I'm going to have to do more research on it, and we can go down that rabbit hole. But as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make note of that because I want to stay on task, because the Department of Homeland Security repealed TPS designations is done as of June 12th. Let's talk about another one. Department of Health and Human Services. This is, again, you trying to get your walls cleaned over there. I hear you, girl. Department of Health and Human Services completed on June 3rd as a part of Project 2025, folks. rescind guidance that requires hospitals to perform an abortion to save a woman's life under EMTALA. We lost a citizen because the civilians were forced to try to protect each other. That's terrible. This is reproductive health. Let's talk about that briefly. So what happened was he rescinded protecting women in need of emergency abortions. Hey, Dead One guy, how are you? I'm just here for the facts, honey. Then you do with it what you want to. For real. Trump administration on Tuesday, and let's see what date this is, because again, these are dated. This was actually June 3rd. Now remember this is we're following along with what happened June 3rd with thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. So here's what you need to know. This is a part of Project 2025. Almost every time I go live, I do try to go through Project 2025 to see where we currently are, because they would have you believe that what's happening right now with this current administration is not a part of the Heritage Foundation's deal to dismantle the U.S. as we know it. But everything that is currently happening is in Project 2025. If you want further knowledge for yourself, hey, Susie, how are you? What I encourage you to do is to go to project2025.observer. That's where I need y'all to go. It is their mandate for leadership. Absolutely, Angie T. So Tuesday, June 3rd, the Trump administration rescinded Biden-era guidance clarifying that hospitals in states with abortion bans cannot turn away pregnant patients who are in the midst of medical emergencies, a move that comes amid multiple red state court battles over the guidance. Remember what just happened to a young lady here in the state of Georgia. She suffered a brain aneurysm, passed away. They put her on life support because she was over 6 weeks pregnant, and they forced her body to carry the pregnancy until Friday of last week. And they delivered a 1 pound, 13-ounce baby boy. And they took her off of life support on Sunday. Hey, Lamar, how are you? Welcome, welcome. This is real, y'all. This is happening in real time. Very low chance of survival. And his name is Chance. Okay, now, the guidance deals with the Federal Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, or EMTALA. 1 pound, 13 ounces. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. It is sickening, absolutely. Because of the law, the hospital did not take her off of life support. And they did. And they did. So let's go back to Project 2025. It's on page 473 of the actual document. Rewrite the Affordable Care Act abortion separate payment regulations, audit Hyde Amendment compliance. Section 1303 of Obamacare requires that insurers collect a separate payment for certain abortion coverage in qualified health plans that are approved to be sold on exchange, and that they keep those separate payments in separate accounts that are used only to pay for elective abortion services. Neither the letter nor the spirit of the law was enforced under President Obama, and a Trump-era regulation sought to correct this problem. You see how his name keeps coming up in this? Hey, Martise, how are you? You see that? You see how his name keeps coming up? But they said he wasn't a part of this? Okay. Separate does not mean together. Reverse distorted pro-abortion interpretations added to the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act. The Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act prohibits hospitals that receive Medicare funds from dumping emergency patients who cannot pay by sending them to other hospitals. It also mandates that hospitals stabilize pregnant women and explicitly protects unborn children. Hospitals or physicians found to be in violation of the statute could lose all of their federal funding. Medicare, Medicaid, and CHIP, and other funds, and face civil penalties of up to nearly $120,000. Hey, D, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Reissue a stronger transgender national coverage determination. Enforce, again, that particular deal. Enforce the emergency medical, Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act. So again, we're talking about the things that have passed that are in Project 2025 at this point. Interesting, isn't it? If you want to find out more and you want to follow along, hey, Mike, how are you? If you want to find out more and you want to learn exactly which portions of Project 2025 have passed, head on over to project2025.observer. Head on over. We could go on and on and on. So let's go through a couple. Labor, Department of Labor. Defense, use of public monies for transgender surgery should be ended. White House, use the Congressional Review Act to undo Biden-era final rulemakings. Environmental Protection Agency, repeal energy efficiency standards for appliances. Let that sink in, folks. Right. Angie T said the same thing. Like, wait, pause. Let's read that together, shall we? Angie T said, wait, what? Let's head on over. President Donald Trump on May 9th signed a series of measures approved by Congress to roll back regulations the Biden administration implemented in its final days. The 4 measures he signed Friday evening were approved as part of the Congressional Review Act, which Congress can use at the start of an administration to wipe out policies it doesn't like from a previous one. Okay. I don't want to read on that, but let's go directly to, so it's in page 379. And it basically says, eliminate energy efficiency standards for your appliances in your house. The next administration should work with Congress to modify or repeal the law mandating energy efficiency standards before or in lieu of repealing the law. There are steps the agency can take to refocus on the consumer by giving full force to the provisions already in the law that serve to limit regulatory overreach and protect against excessively stringent standards. For example, the Trump Department of Education, or DOE, prioritized the relatively few appliance regulations that were likely to save consumers the most energy and refrain from those whose modest benefits are unlikely to justify the costs. It also took steps to ensure that any new standards do not compromise product quality or eliminate any features. How, y'all? Right. Bodie, no. Listen, but it's in Project 2025. And it passed. I'm not making none of this up. So that don't even make sense. Like, the only thing I could think of is like the appliances. When I bought the house that didn't have any appliances, I had to buy them. And I wanted to purchase something that was going to provide me with as much energy efficiency as I could get away with, because I'm responsible for this light bill. Me. So I needed to, hey, Cutter. It is. It absolutely. But you know what? Here's the thing. This is in Project 2025. So he ain't the only one that enjoys destruction. I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm always looking for something that's energy efficient all the time. I'm always looking for something that they used him to usher. Exactly. That's all they did. Let me tell y'all something. I don't think he knows what he's doing. They just got a stack of executive orders and he just signed. What is this one? with his little crayon. I don't understand. I don't get it. Help me to understand how any of this makes any sense. This one is laughable, but it's happening in real time. It's already happened. This passed on May 9th. Department of Justice, Transportation. There are 304 objectives remaining, people. 304. Remove the U.S. from association with the United Nations or other efforts to push sustainable food production. Y'all, I need a whole cocktail. Where don't I have a margarita around here or something? Hey, Robbie Bobby, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Cora. Hey, Lamar. Yeah, so this, again, you can find all of this information. I'm not making any of this up. You can always reference whatever I am sharing with you because it is here for you to read yourself, for real. So let's go ahead and talk about CapCut. Y'all heard about this? Oh, baby, hold on to your hats because I'm astonished at the people that voted for this revenge tour. Because listen, when I tell you that's exactly what it is, 12 o'clock. Cheers. Yes. Because you're central, right? Yeah. So it's a revenge tour as sure as I'm sitting here talking to you. For real. But the thing is now that I'm listening and I'm talking and so forth, and we're learning more and I'm watching this guy in real time. I promise you he don't know. And they know he doesn't know. And they're having the time of their lives because he doesn't. No, exactly, Cutter. Exactly. Yes. So let's talk about their new terms and conditions and why you need to be concerned. They have been amended. If you use CapCut, sit down. I'm going to be right back because I got to get my charger. Where's my charger? I knew I was going to be talking so much. My phone was going to fall out. It was going to fall out with me like, girl, you're talking too much. I'm deleting my account as well. What I tried to do was find others that are just as good. Like I do have, what's one I have? What's Adobe? What's Adobe? What's the Adobe one that I use? Well, anyway, I have that one. But here's what you need. Here's what you need to know. Grab that sangria. I need it, honey. Okay, so let's talk about a clear-eyed breakdown of the CapCut terms of services based on content ownership and licensing. Y'all ready for this one? This one really gonna wear you out. Okay, so let's get serious for just a moment because I'm gonna be cutting this up and sharing it amongst the people. Okay. CapCut is associated with TikTok. TikTok ban date is no, they've extended it. I talked about that this morning on the news brief that I do, the Brownstone brief. I talked about that today, Carla. They extended it for another 90 days. Yeah. So TikTok is here for another 90 days. That's okay. Yeah, go ahead and that's why it's so important because what I try to do is not give you all politics all day long because it'll wear you out. You need to know that you got another 90 days. And then after that, it's probably going to be another 90 days. And this will continue. Yes, honey, I'm tired too, but we here for the long haul. We gotta roll our sleeves up and take advantage of everything. Because, honey, Cutter, I see you. Roll up and make it pop. And you encourage me as well. Now that I'm back in town, I was literally watching you. I don't even know if I was just like, I'm gonna peek in, because you were working out hard, honey, sweating and stuff. And I said, oh, she's doing her thing. So I was like, I definitely know I need to come back. I even tried the Tiffany plate. Let's talk about the Tiffany plate real quick. I love it. Push it aside another 90 model, but don't have to deal with it. We just keep the and that's what they're doing, Poke. That's exactly what's happening. They're just pushing it aside, because nobody really wants to deal with it. Because what they also know is it's still a big money maker. It's a new economy. That's why so many people want it. And if they do that, think about the people who literally do this full time. Officially, I do this full time. Let me say that again. I know I'm not the only one. There are people that make money doing TikTok, and it impacts your other businesses, right? So if you have a business, and I said that today on my little my turn little video that I do, I talked about that today, how when I go live, I always give a call to action. If you are on this app and you are not providing people with value, if you're not providing them with, something that they can utilize later on in their day or their lives, start doing that. And I know one of the things that I'm really good at is sharing information, honey. I'm like the old lady sitting in that window on 227. You hear me? Because one thing about it is I love to consume information. And you all should know what's happening, especially with things like CapCut and so forth, right? And so in terms of TikTok, it's how do you get rid of a machine that everybody is connected to now, including Amazon? Small businesses have become multi-million dollar corporations on this app. And we have watched some of that happen live. There are some of us who have created entire opportunities for ourselves, me included, and others I know that are watching right now because we all took the same class, who are making opportunities for ourselves in a world who currently right now, as a sister, I've officially, quote unquote, been unemployed from corporate America for 3 years. I had to do something. I'm just keeping it 100. Let's call it what it is. I had to figure it out because my mortgage still needs to be paid. Period. So I was like, okay, so let me do this and let me do that, and I'll do this and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going to learn how to make this work for myself. I didn't have a choice. I'm just keeping it real. Poke, you're unemployed as well? Honey, I'm not unemployed no more. I had to pick it up. I said, okay, all right, Lord. All right, I'm quote unquote. Because see, here's the thing. Being employed really just means, in my brain, you're providing a service to a corporation. And if at any time that they don't like what you do, or they find no value for you any longer, or they're they'll give you a pink slip. You can do the same with them. I'm getting back to CapCut in just a minute. This is just a sidebar, right? You can do the same with them. You can cut them loose too. Well, I was cut loose. The department that I was in, Human Resources, decided that they were eliminating my position. Gave me no warning. Here's what it is. Oh, okay. And I wrote it out. I used my severance. I got on unemployment. I did all the things. And within that time, this was picking up. I already had Brownstone Worldwide. I already had everything that I needed that was already in place. But because I had a nice, cushy corporate job working in human resources, it was almost a hobby until I needed it to pay the bills. Honey, when you talk about the anxiety that I was getting, because they wanted me to do so much, right? But they didn't, but that's a whole different conversation for another day. I'm no longer there, and I'm not bringing up yesterday. But here's the thing. I decided that I was either A, going to figure this out, or B, I was going to figure it out. There was no in between. And when I tell you, I constantly wake up every morning and I'm like, okay, I got to put myself on a schedule. I got to do this. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. Y'all get that first video. Then you get a second one. Then you go ahead and you get the Talking Head News. Then I go live, right? And then I started figuring out other things because I took a course by Kimberly Millionaire. A couple of you guys were in there with me that are on this live with me right now. And I said, I need to learn how to do this. And now some of you all may have already seen my face and been like, oh, that's old girl from da-da-da-da-da. Honey, I do UGC. I literally picked up my first, I literally just picked up my very first, what is the name of that thing? Long-term contract. Like I'm in their Rolodex. I'm in their Rolodex. So what that means is I'm literally able to be called on every month to do content for them. I'm good with that. Now it's time for me to raise my rates. They still want to control us, and that's okay too. Because I will be honest with you, every day I sit down, and Sharonda, you know this. Shout out to Sharonda. For y'all who don't know, Sharonda Seeley is a part of the Brownstone, and she's one of the hosts of a show that is aired on Brownstone Worldwide on YouTube, as well as Cityscape Radio. And you are behind the scenes, so you know what it takes to run portions of what you and Leanne do, right? And so it's work. It's not easy. But one of the things that I will say is I had to learn quickly how to pivot and make Brownstone Worldwide work. And I'm still learning. Like, I'm still stripping down pieces, and I don't. It's not perfect. It's by no means, no stretch of the imagination is it. But I'm learning what works and what doesn't, because I have no choice. Just like none of us do. Each one of us has to feed our families. We got to pay our rent or our mortgage, our car note, our insurance, all of the things, right? I got 2 employees. Every other Friday, guess what they want to get? Paid. They want to get paid. So I attend all of the meetings. I go to local chamber events so I can start building relationships, and I attend other things, and I offer services, because it is important for me to be continuously seen, because it helps to pay the bills, period, point blank. Not only that, I'm in TikTok Shop affiliate, and I'm ashamed and embarrassed because I watch deals with Nia and Cutter. You two are on it, but you got to do what you got to do to eat. I say it often and I say it long. Ain't nobody coming to save any one of us. If you have the money to invest to take a course, do so. If you know how to do something and you can digitize it, digitize it. I knew how to make a magazine, so I put the magazine together. And when you look in it, you can literally see places where you can purchase items. There are advertisers in there. Same thing with Brownstone Worldwide. Why am I telling you this? Because I had to figure it out. Every last one of us has to figure it out in the middle of everything that is going on right now. I don't even know how we ended up on this topic. Because I was talking about CapCut, and then we started talking about something else, and then we ended up all the way over here. Oh, I know what it was. So I had to figure it out. And one of the things that I had to figure out was how to use CapCut, because I didn't like Adobe. Adobe had layers and had this and it had that. And I already knew how to use Adobe for radio. I knew how to do that, but it just wasn't the same. I was like, oh my God, I gotta learn. But CapCut has such a great, it was easy to understand. It was easy for me. And then I got better and I got better and I got better. And I thought, oh, this is not that bad. I can literally do this. Right now, I still work with my son, KJ. Okay. He does the majority of the editing in-house. But if I just need to do something real simple, boop, 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 I can do it. But now that CapCut has these new terms of service, I don't know. So those were one of the skill sets that I had to learn from. We talking about, I had to get out here in these internet streets like these kids and go live. I want to be like Kai Cenat, be on Twitch. For real, like, why not? You know what I mean? That's why I said I'm going to be here for a while, because I ain't got none but time now. Kids grown. Everybody's doing their own thing, XYZ, right? I got a client coming in town today. We're going to be spending time working with her, getting her podcast and stuff together. Those are the things that I had to learn how to do. I had to pivot. I had to take my skill set from radio and from being in the entertainment industry and make that sucker work for me right now, because I got to eat. And these kids and these grandkids and so forth, they're still looking for things, right? Now I can travel and do the thing. I want to go see my grandson. I want to go see, I need to go back to Houston so I can finish up what I started over there. So that costs money. But that still does not absolve me of the responsibility of knowing what's happening in this country. I still got to know. You still got to know. That's it. So here we are, learning together. So let's talk about CapCut. Here's what we know: content ownership and licensing. Sit down and make a decision on what you're going to do today. Whatever projects or whatever, I need you all to decide what projects you're going to finish up in CapCut and get rid of it. Clear-eyed breakdown of the CapCut terms of services, content ownership and licensing. You give them everything forever. I didn't stutter. Yeah. So, quote, you hereby grant us an unconditional, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, fully transferable, including sub-licensable, perpetual worldwide license to use your user content. And they told y'all that with a smile on their face because they knew y'all weren't going to read it. Yep. It's raining again. Here's what you need to know. You give CapCut a permanent license to use anything you upload, modify it, and let others use it too forever for free. Even worse, if your content involves music, you ready? They're saying you, end user, you have to deal with any legal ramifications that come from using somebody else's sound, even if you got the music from them. Let that sink in. Basically, you do the work, you produce it, you modify it, you alter it, you load it, you make it look great or whatever, and they get to profit and reuse it any way they want to for free. How y'all feel about that? Did y'all know that was in CapCut's new end user agreement? If you are using anything CapCut right now, delete your stuff off of there and find something else to use. They have lost their ever-loving mind. Waiver of moral and publicity rights. Here's the quote. You hereby waive to the extent permitted by applicable law and agree never to assert any and all moral rights. Here's what you need to know. This means you can't even object if your name, your image, or work is used in ways you find offensive or damaging. They get to do whatever they want to you. You're stripped of personality, your personality rights that are normally protected in many jurisdictions if you continue to use it. I'm quiet because I'm even taking it in. When I read it this morning, I thought, and I'm working on a project right now. Termination for any reason, no refund guarantee. Here's the quote. We reserve the right to suspend or terminate your account with or without notice at any time for no reason or any reason. They can cut you off at will, and you could lose access to your content, paid features, and even your cloud storage. How many of you literally are paying for cloud storage on another platform like a Dropbox or other file server like Google? If you are not, get your stuff and save it. I have always been a proponent. I have had Dropbox since Dropbox first came out. I literally just increased my Dropbox file space about a week ago, not knowing that this was coming. But knowing this now, everything that we utilize, everything that is done on Brownstone Worldwide gets pulled. All shows, everything, and it's saved in their respective folders on Dropbox. So if they ever need to access it or whatever, they can. And we also have the Google files that we utilize. But see, I pay for that. Get your stuff? No. Dropbox is not owned by CapCut. No, Dropbox has been around for a long time though, but no, it's not. Hey, Paulette Nix, how are you? Interesting, isn't it? Let's dig a little bit deeper. Refund policy loopholes. You may cancel. This is the actual quote. You may cancel within 14 calendar days, provided that you do not have any usage of the premium services in any form. Here's why this is exploitative, okay? If you so much as click a button or preview a tool, you forfeit your right to a refund. I'm sorry, what? Even within the refund window. That sounds like a trap, doesn't it? Yep, because it is. Third-party liability dumping. Quote, here's the actual quote. You release us from all claims arising out of or in any way connected with your disputes with such third parties. Here's the reason why that's a problem. If they use shady third-party tools, AI integrations, or content, you eat the risk. Even if you get harmed in the process, they're not going to back you up. Indemnification clause. Here's the quote. You shall defend, indemnify, and hold harmless CapCut from and against any and all claims, costs, and expenses. This is dangerous, okay? If someone sues CapCut over your content, even if it's an honest mistake, you pay their legal fees. See, so it's more than just using it and pulling your stuff in or recording with it and so forth. You literally got a whole problem if you're utilizing CapCut. Forced arbitration and jurisdiction. Here's the quote. Arbitration in Singapore or California for U.S. users, no class actions allowed. You must sue within 1 year. This prevents class action lawsuits, pushes disputes into arbitration, less consumer friendly, and severely limits your ability to seek justice. Feedback license grab. Here's the quote. You grant us a perpetual, worldwide, and unlimited license to exploit the feedback without attrition. You give them, here's what this means. You're giving them free use of your ideas forever. And they don't owe you a dime. They don't even have to give you credit. Now that's a great deal for them. Isn't it? That's almost like you working for free. When is Juneteenth? Okay. No guarantee of content availability. Here's another quote. We do not guarantee the permanent availability of your content. You should back up anything you value. Didn't I just say that? So they say that they offer cloud services, because see, that's what I pay for now is the cloud services. But because it's just an app that's on my phone, I didn't trust it. So I said, okay, here's what I need to do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pay somebody else over here. And that's why I kept Dropbox. Okay. Despite offering cloud services, they take no responsibility if your data is lost, even if it's their fault. How about that? Here's the other one. Right. Why even keep it at this point? Dapper says. Here's another one. Number 10. We can change anything, anytime. Here's the quote. We reserve the right to change our service plans, pricing, or features at any time. This is exploitative. Here's how. You can sign up under certain terms, but they can strip those features, raise prices, or even change conditions after you've signed up and you've paid for it with your continued use deemed as consent. So even though I was using it this morning, even after I knew, I was like, I'm gonna hurry up and I'm gonna finish this edit. Because right now I don't feel like doing like a whole learning curve for something else. And that's my truth. I'm keeping it 100 with myself. I don't want to learn another platform. But guess what? I'm gonna have to find something. Can I say it? Because I be damned. You're being stripped of your user rights. It's pushing the liability on you. And I hope y'all caught that. You're giving the company free rein to exploit, modify, and profit from your intellectual property, your content. Are you okay with that? You ought not to be. This is absolutely absurd, isn't it? You ought not to be. Hey, Kathleen, how are you? Hey, Courtney. You should be bothered. Here's the thing. Here's the issue with it. They know that the product is good, but it's not that good that you should stick around and keep using a product that they can literally do anything they want with your intellectual property. Well, Paulette, well, what do you mean? What is intellectual property? Let's go ahead and look that up, shall we? I got a whole book on it. Your intellectual property is intangible creation that is the product of your human intellect, folks. Intellectual property rights are laws that protect the use and replication of these works from unauthorized sources. But the minute that you use CapCut, you have authorized them to utilize your intellectual property. That doesn't sound like an even and fair exchange, does it? Now, there are 4 main mechanisms in place for safeguarding intellectual property: copyrights, patents, trademarks, and trade secrets. Understanding intellectual property laws, or what we call IP, and how you can protect your works, either when starting any project, anything, literally every single day when you are working, because y'all, when you all are on these platforms, you're working. Don't you ever let anybody think or tell you that it is not work, because it is. It takes work to plan it. It takes work to film it. It takes work to go live. It takes work to be set up every single day. This is work. A lot of us are not doing this because we just enjoy it, even though I do. And what do I look like? Literally saying, oh, it's okay. Go ahead and take my intellectual property. Take that. I created it. You can have it for free. And then somebody else goes and takes your products and your services and anything else that you have, your ideas, your content, and they can make money off of it for free. Make that make sense. It does. I still haven't figured out what to do. You already doing it, Sharonda. When you go live, that your topics are amazing. And then when you all get started, you pull your fan out and stuff. Girl, it's hilarious. You're funny. Hey, are you coming next week or no? Am I gonna see you next week, ma'am? So does any of this make sense? Hey, Cindy, how are you? Oh, Cindy, good to see you. Yeah, girl, you coming next week? I haven't bought a thing. I don't even know what I'm wearing to this thing. Okay, let's talk about that. Well, so let's talk about copyrights really quick, because you guys, listen, you need to understand what you are doing when you're using CapCut. Your copyrights, not anybody else's, yours. Now let's talk about copyright and copyrighted. The minute you create something, it is copyrighted. Not when you do the poor man's copyright and you mail it off, right? See, I learned that when I was in the entertainment industry, because I thought we had to mail it off. That's the poor man's copyright. That's what you have to do if you're planning on performing it that day or presenting it to the public. You mail it back to yourself with a date on it. And then you have the post office to stamp that. But now you can go ahead and you can do everything online quickly, okay? So a copyright gives the creator of an original work, creative, intellectual, or artistic form the exclusive legal authority to determine if, where, and when said work can be produced, published, sold, or distributed by others. Copyright owners also enjoy financial rights, which allow them to benefit from the reuse of their creation by others. If, say, for instance, you got something that went viral and you created it in CapCut and they decide to take that and they remix it or they use it in whole and in part, because you used CapCut, you can't stop them from making money from what you do. Make sense? Copyrights are usually granted for a limited amount of time and do include some limitations and exceptions, such as not protecting ideas themselves, only how those ideas were originally expressed. So again, if someone takes your intellectual property or your content that you created and they remix it, it is officially not yours anyway, but it's still your likeness and your image. And you got to prove that in court. Sound like I might know a little something about that, huh? I do. From personal experience. By the way, I won. Okay? Works that are eligible: poems, literary pieces, movies, television and radio broadcasts, dance choreography, songs and musical compositions, paintings, drawings, sculptures, photographs, architectural designs, and computer software. Your patents, we're not going to dig off into that because we're not talking about that. Trademarks, we already know about that. Anything you have, you should have a trademark on it. And your trade secrets. Why is this important? Because you work hard for what you do. That's why. And only you should be benefiting from that. Unless, of course, say for instance, you're like me and you're doing UGC content and you find that ultimately a contract, it's some things I don't care anything about, right? Because it's their script, but I still have to indemnify and provide them with the rights to use my likeness in perpetuity forever. And in some cases I do that. And I'll say, you can use it globally, XYZ, or I'll give them like a time frame. I'll say 6 months, whatever. I have one client who literally wants to use my face on billboards internationally, but not in the States. But they got to pay me for that. And in 6 months, they have to renew. True story. They have to pay me. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? But the reason why you need to know what's happening with CapCut and their new end user agreement is because they literally have told you, because you are using CapCut, you cannot tell us what we can do with your content, because we're going to do what we want to do and you can't stop us because you're using our platform, even if you are paying for it. They don't guarantee you your cloud usage or that it'll be there. They can do what they want. And if there's any legal repercussions from anything dealing with your content that they're using, that they're putting on their stuff, you are going to be responsible for that. That don't even sound right, folks. Does it? Hey, how are you? I didn't even see you over here. Hey there. How are you, Cheryl? I see you over here on YouTube. SR Brillinger is on YouTube right now. Thank you so much for watching. So is any of this sinking in? So what I called myself trying to do was I was trying to find different companies that we can use instead. It didn't go so well. Because we do know about we know about Adobe. We know about that, but it's a learning curve that I'm not really comfortable with, right? So okay, we'll deal with that. But then here's the other thing. What are CapCut alternatives? There's one called y'all help me out now, because this is insane, right? After I finish this one, and I hate to say it, but because I'm almost done with this project, I need to go find something else. Yes, there will be a learning curve. Yes, it's going to hurt a little bit. So there's PicsArt, PicsArt. There's also, like I said, there's Adobe Rush. I think that's what it's called, InShot. But see, InShot, Canva Video, you can use that one. It's not as okay, yeah. I don't know about that one, but okay. DaVinci Resolve is another one. Let's see. Video Now, LumaFusion, ShotCut, ClipChamp. Video Leap I used to use, but Video Leap is like $49 a year. And I think I used it like twice. It wasn't. Instagram Edits is another one. So Instagram Edits I do have, and it's very, very CapCut like. So if you want to use that, I would, yeah. Now I am using it only because I got in early. Okay. So do keep that in mind. It may not be available to everyone, but do keep that in mind. Okay. So Instagram Edits is another one. Okay. And there are others. I think I screenshot some earlier today. I'll share a couple of those with you guys a little bit later as like a video clip, so you can see exactly what it is, and then make a decision based on that. But as you can see, what's happening with CapCut is literally saying, screw y'all, and we're going to take your money besides, and we're going to make money off of you besides, and you're going to eat it and you're going to like it. And if you haven't sat down and really thought about that, and you're only using CapCut, make sure that you are taking all of your stuff off of their cloud. You're putting it on your own cloud, be it Google, if you're using Google Files, or even if you are using, say, for instance, others like I said, Dropbox is another one, and there are other file servers that you can use and keep your stuff on. Take your stuff off of there. Take your stuff off of there. It may not do anything for what you already have on there, and then remove the app. Because one thing that I always say is we steal the people. And if you don't care that they're using your stuff and your intellectual property, by all means. But if you try to take them to court behind this, you know what they're going to say? Your Honor, they use the platform. And you know what the judge is going to say? You should have read it. Well, we just broke it down for you right here. So now you know. You absolutely know exactly what it is that CapCut is doing. Make a decision. Make a decision today. Today. Okay? Now, last couple of things that we're going to talk about. We're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to be back. Why? Because I'm trying to get back in the algorithm, folks. I've been gone for a week and a half. It's been a week. It's been a week and a half. Yeah. Even though I did have a great time in Houston, like I said. So let's talk briefly about R. Kelly. Did y'all hear about R. Kelly, y'all? These are light. I'm trying to keep it light because right now it's been kind of quiet on the news front. And I still need to give you all business news for the afternoon and so forth. So we're going to do that. Let's talk about R. Kelly. Yes, I said R, like the old folks say. So y'all do know that R. Kelly overdosed, according to reports. And so the singer overdoses in prison. My question is, how did that happen? So word on the street is that he believes that the Aryan Nation or the Aryan Brotherhood in prison is literally after him to take his life. In prison, singer R. Kelly reportedly overdosed on medication prescribed to him while in solitary confinement and had to be rushed to the hospital to save his life. I'm confused. If you're in solitary confinement, why would they take your shoestrings, honey? If you getting picked up or whatever. I was arrested once when I was in college, right, for protesting. Honey, they took my brassiere. You don't have anything. According to court documents obtained by All Hip Hop, R. Kelly was moved to solitary confinement 2 days after his attorneys revealed an alleged plot by the Aryan Brotherhood to murder him, to unalive him, take his life. It was while the disgraced crooner had been moved that the reported overdose took place. So his attorney asserts that corrections officers inside the North Carolina prison administered too much medication to the 12-play songwriter. So it sounds like he didn't get access to it. It was given to him. The attorney said that by the next morning, R. Kelly had collapsed in his cell after experiencing symptoms such as dizziness, vision loss, and fainting. Officers rushed him to Duke University Hospital. There, the physicians assessed the singer, said the dosage Kelly received could have been fatal. That means that within 2 days of the filing of his motion, Bureau of Prisons officials administered an amount of medication that significantly exceeded a safe dose and caused Mr. Kelly to overdose, putting his life in jeopardy. All right, now he's also suffering from blood clots in his legs and other things. And so what they're basically doing is saying that they need to get him out of there. Okay, moving on. All right, so there's that. I just, y'all know me. I like to leave with stuff like that, but there it goes. Now, a couple other things that are happening as well. Senator Ro Khanna is literally at this moment sending out emails because I just got one. Representative Massey and he have introduced a war powers resolution to halt U.S. involvement in Iran and Israel. Okay. Constitution requires congressional approval for war, not unilateral presidential action. I need us to also keep that in mind. Okay. All right, folks. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back because, like I said, I need to do what? I have got to get back into the algorithm. So I got to come back later on this evening and get some other stuff done because I can sit here all day. Y'all know me. But I'm going to get some more news, some more information, some more stuff. We're going to come back. We're going to do some more talking and just really enjoy each other's company. I'm so glad to be back. Listen, Linda. Listen. It's time for me to say goodbye to all my family. MICKEY. No, I'm kidding. All right, you guys. Remember this. 3 things that we should always remember that I always say at the end of every single show. You see how rusty I am? 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace everything that is your life because you only get one you. You might as well enjoy it. And lastly, breathe through every single moment. I will see you all later on this afternoon or evening, but y'all will see me before midnight Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you around.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Fernell. Here to entertain and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone partner, here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.